Today we're going to be looking at Scp-912, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. Scp-912 is to be kept at Research Unit in a standard containment cell. The cell door must have a damage-resistant rating of 3A or above. Direct physical handling of Scp-912 causes potential dangerous reaction and should be avoided except as part of unauthorized testing protocols. All researchers involved in Scp-912 must receive briefing Scp-912-002A safe handling of Scp-912 and dealing with arrest behavior by Scp-912 in the event of arrest by Scp-912. Researchers are to offer minimal resistance and await rescue by an associate wearing the uniform of the PD. Experiments that involve the use of firearms or the CQ firing rate required authorization from doctor at least 4 hours in advance in order to permit route clearance and scheduled deconfliction. Scp-912 Description consists of several items of police-issued body armor, clothing, and equipment that together form a discrete entity capable of independent movement and action. Both the methods by which this ability has been acquired and means by which it is achieved have yet to be identified. The elements that comprise Scp-912 conform to the standards of uniform worn by the LPD SWAT as of 20. Uniform elements float in midair as though worn by a man or woman around 185 centimeters or 6'1" in height, but no such presence can be detected. Scp-912 does not directly respond to communication attempts, but will follow simple orders in English given by personnel wearing the uniform of an officer of the PD. Scp-912 consists of the following: 1 dark gray PD ballistic helmet with transparent face protecting visor. 1 black Nomax tactical balaclava from unknown manufacturer. 1 set navy blue PD tactical body. Armor from Armor Ltd. SWAT insignia printed upon the back and front, including several ammo, grenade/storage pouches, all apparently empty, though Scp-912 resists inspection. 1 pouch contains plasticuff restraints. Supply seems to remain consistent regardless of the arrests made. 1 pair of black knee pads from Armor Ltd. 1 pair of black elbow pads. 1 pair of steel toe-capped combat boots from an unknown manufacturer. 1 pair of black combat gloves. Closed and fastened pistol holster suitable for the mid-size firearm from unknown manufacturer. 1 53 centimeter or 21 inch telescopic steel baton. Handle is apparently made from hardened plastic with a textured grip. In its default state, Scp-912 has been assessed no pose to hazard or health, security, or risk of escape when handled in accordance to Scp-912-002A and 002B. If given the command, arrest subject by a person wearing the uniform of the PD, or in the event of Scp-912 detects an armed individuals within its visual radius, it will commence arrest behaviors. Scp-912 will attempt to disarm and restrain the subject upon the ground, then securing their arms behind their back using a pair of plastic cuffs. The force used in the process of this arrest greatly exceeds PD SWAT guidelines and statutory procedures. Scp-912 frequently inflicts injury to the neck, shoulder, and arms of the arrested individuals due to the apparent unawareness or indifference to the mechanical limitations of the human anatomy. Resistance on the behalf of the individual being arrested causes a corresponding increase in force until cessation. SCP-912 will attack should it detect threatening or hostile behaviors towards itself or an individual wearing the uniform of the PD. SCP-912 deploys its telescopic steel baton and approaches the nearest armed suspect at an average speed of 5 kilometers an hour. If the armed suspect drops the weapon and ceases threatening behavior before SCP-912 moves into combat range, the normal arrest procedure will be initiated. If the subject initiates hostile actions or is still holding the weapon when SCP-912 enters combat range, SCP-912 will strike powerful blows to the head and upper arms of the subject for up to a minute after the subject loses consciousness. Once all armed subjects are subdued, arrest behaviors proceed as normal. SCP-912 considers the following to be weapons and will initiate attack behaviors upon sight. This includes the following: firearms, bladed weapons, including kitchen knives longer than 10 centimeters or 4 inches in length, batons, clubs, and similarly blunt objects, tasers, and pepper spray, and joy buzzers. SCP-912 will initiate attack behavior when its following are used in threatening manner: power and hand tools, knotted rope, lengths of chains, brass knuckles, sports equipment, a baseball bat or golf club, and a clipboard. SCP-912 only permits an individual it has arrested to be removed from his presence by a person wearing the uniform of the PD Police Department. An individual wearing the appropriate uniform is not detained by SCP-912 regardless of armament, except when their physical aggression is shown towards another subject wearing the PD uniform. SCP-912 does not react to hostile actions by PD uniform personnel towards non-uniform victims, and does not react to hostile actions between unarmed civilians not wearing the PD uniform regardless of injury sustained. This basically means if a corrupt cop were to shoot and kill an innocent civilian, the SCP-912 will not engage to the officer. If an officer were to beat someone to death in front of it, it will not interact at all, because it thinks it's doing is right, no matter what. Okay. Summary of test results, threat response, and behavior of SCP-912. Test. Remote operated vehicle with a serial number of 25168-162 with cutting tools activated, implement, and approach D31117. Stand to a chair. No response. Test terminated when cutting tool 1.5 centimeters from D3117's throat. Comment. Either SCP-912 does not consider a ROV a threat or does not care about the fate of the D-class subject. Testing protocols demand of hygiene ground. Test. Remotely operated vehicle. Serial number 25168-162 with cutting tools activated, implement, and approach to D3117 restrained in the same chair. D3117 now wearing the PD uniform. SCP-912 attacked the ROV when the cutting tool was in 2 feet of the subject. Attack continued until ROV deactivated remotely and stand-down command was given by D3117. SCP-912 does not appear to modify behavior in response to a non-humanoid threat. Test. D3073, wearing a D-Class uniform, is ordered to simulate attacking D375 wearing the D-Class uniform. No response. Comment. SCP-912 appears to be utterly indifferent, even when D3073 accidentally made full contact with 3075 and inflicted a nosebleed. Attest. D3073 was wearing the PD uniform in order to simulate attacking a D3075, which is wearing a D-Class uniform. No response. As is suspected, based on the evidence in the acquisition report, D3073 wearing the D-Class uniform ordered to simulate attacking D3075 wearing the PD uniform. The results are SCP-912 attacking the D-Class wearing the D-Class uniform with telescopic baton until subject unconsciousness, and then restrain the subject, hospitalized suspect with a broken jaw. Primary tests were largely as expected, however, when D3075 attempted to intervene to prevent further harm, he accidentally placed his right hand to the left arm cavity of 913. D307 was inmate set upon as SCP-917 and beaten to death using the telescope baton and boots. It seems that SCP-912 will not tolerate violation of space enclosed by the containment equipment, no matter what uniform is worn. So basically, if you were to reach for any equipment on him, you'll be beat to death, no matter if you're a cop or not. Okay. Test. D3118 was armed with a 12-inch kitchen knife with 30 centimeters, and D3119 armed with pistol. Ordered to attack. D3126, a D-Class ordered to drop weapon before contact. SCP-912 moved towards the D-Class subjects as soon as weapons exposed. D3119 initiated focus of attention until weapon dropped, at which point SCP-912 attacked D3118, who was disarmed violently. D3118 right hand and forearm suspected fracture. Right index finger amputated in struggle. D3119 initiated resistance of arrest by SCP-912 has had both shoulders dislocated during restraint procedures. Test halted and D-Class personnel removed for medical treatment. SCP-912 places greater emphasis upon guns than melee weapons. Finer insight to threat hierarchy is achievable, but would involve needless waste of D-Class personnel. Testing of SCP-912 in a SWAT typical tactical environment is currently ongoing. Agents have prior SWAT team experience in preparing appropriate scenarios on the behalf of Dr.